We're Sarah and Ben. Welcome to our journey to van life.
Thanks very much for being here with us. To follow our journey from how we turn this into this, please like, subscribe and click the little notification bell. And we'll see you out there on the road sometime.
Welcome back to the channel. Thanks for being here. Really good to see you. This week we're going to be talking about how we took the van from the painting stage to getting it looking a bit more finished. So that's about applying the plastics and a few other things around about the body. Can you tell us a bit more about that? Yeah, so we're also going to tell you about the magnetic door hold catch here and a few of the other things around the body, with cutting holes for the toilet and the electrical hookup and the insulation inside the van. So it should be a good episode this week. Stay tuned. See you later. As you'll know if you've come anywhere near an older Sprinter van, rainwater leaks in through the holes that for the plastic clips on the bodywork panels, and then that eventually corrodes the inside of the panels. So to prevent that, we've used this sealant on every single one of the holes before refixing the body panels, and this should hopefully keep that water out and keep us corrosion free. These shiny new badges and LED side marker lights just finish off the look on the outside. When we fitted the side pods, we found that opening the back door, as it swings round, the window would actually touch the fiberglass down here. So we had to make the gap a little bit larger, and we did that by extending the pad that goes onto the door here. It's a disc of plastic which we got laser cut from a place on eBay, and it's just bolted, and all it does is it extends this by 20mm from the door and gives that extra bit of space, so that when the door opens and you foot it on the magnet, there's a nice gap there about 10mm from the glass, and you know that you're not going to do any damage. Because of the extra 10mm on the outside of the van, we had to extend the bolt so that there was enough thread coming through to be able to fix them onto the door. And on this side, because the door opening mechanism is just the other side of this panel, we've put on this extra thick stainless steel plate, and there's also something similar on the inside boxing in the whole lock mechanism to try and make that a little bit more secure. With the side pods in place here, you can see how the bed extends into that space there, so it gives us that extra bit of space. But one of the issues that we had with the fiberglass of the pod was about its rigidity. So we were concerned that with your feet against the wall here, or at the other end your head, that if the fiberglass flexes, because the window is rigid and is just bonded onto the fiberglass, that flex might cause the seal, the bonded seal around the window, to fail, and for the window to either leak or actually come away. So I made this aluminium frame. It's a 20mm by 10mm welded aluminium frame, which is then bonded to the fiberglass on the inside, making a frame all the way around, above and below the window, and again another level of it down here. And so that makes it far stronger, much more rigid, so that any pressure on there shouldn't affect the seal around the window there. And you can see here the 9mm insulation, foam insulation backed with this reflective layer, and that provides a very thin but quite effective type of insulation. And this is how that insulation was fitted, cut to size and fitted with its self-adhesive backing. In some places it needed some contact adhesive as well, but on the whole the adhesive backing did the job. hole for the electricity hookup was cut with this big hole saw. After first measuring several times to make sure it was going to go through in the centre of a clear panel. And a similar approach with the hole for the toilet's tank to be taken out outside. First of all, drilling a small hole to get the location measured from the floor on the inside, and then that marries up with the indicator on the template. And then I used a range of different tools to actually cut the hole out. A smaller hole saw here to get the rounded profile around the corners, and then jigsaw to cut through the straight pieces on the outside of the body. And the small air saw for cutting through these reinforcing parts on the inside of the structure of the van. And then later on, once it's all fitted up and trimmed round, this is how the container comes out, and the hole goes all the way up through and into the toilet on the inside. This is the toilet access door now in place on the inside of the van here. Just opens with the buttons, and I've trimmed around the inside with this aluminium checker plate, made a welded frame, and that's connected to the similar frame on the inside, so that we've got a watertight, or in theory a watertight area for that to live in there. One thing when you see it, it was unavoidable to cut through the side trim of the van here, and so trimming around here is something that I've still got to do. I'm not sure yet how to do it, but that will have a much neater edge around it to finish off that fitting once it's done. To insulate the floor of the van, I used 25mm thick wooden battens, and they were cut down to size from larger timber so that they could be exactly the same size as the insulation panels. And you can see here using Kingspan 25mm panels in filling the gap between the timber. Once the insulation and battens were in place, all firmly fixed down, we sealed all of the gaps between them using the silver tape to make sure there's a vapour barrier, and inevitably there's the odd little hole punctured through the insulation, avoiding that as much as we can by walking on boards, as you can see. But overall, this has been able to seal up all of the gaps and it provide what will hopefully be an effective vapour barrier. once every panel had got plenty of dodo mat in place to prevent the drumming of these large metal panels, we fixed up 2-inch and in some places 3-inch thick polyester insulation. We use this insulation because it's very good insulating properties, but also because it doesn't wick moisture, so it should help to prevent any condensation inside and dissipate any dampness if any does occur. All fixed in place using these clips which glue onto the panel, and then the retainer slides over the end. Do be careful with these, the ends are extremely sharp. In the smaller voids we cut smaller pieces of insulation and basically rammed it up into the gaps using a stick to help get it up there, and then you can see through some of the little holes that you've actually got it all the way through. And this bubble wrap style plastic insulation sheet really doesn't provide much insulation, but it's used as a vapor barrier, so it's taped on over all of the seams, so there's no gap for vapor to get through to the metalwork and cause condensation, and it's fixed up to the panels using double-sided tape. Now, if you ever wonder why you insulate the inside of your van, one of the main things is actually to keep the inside cooler than the outside temperature. You'll notice we painted this van a nice dark shade of grey, which means that it does actually get hotter than a white van would normally. So I decided I'd try and see what the difference really was, and with this thermometer you can see on the bare bodywork panel, before there's any insulation fitted, that it actually was reaching 44 degrees centigrade on a warm summer's day. But then when you move down onto an insulated area, it was down to 26 degrees, an 18-degree drop. It's incredibly significant. So not only helping to keep cool in the summer, but hopefully there'll be a similar advantage keeping us warm in the winter. Thanks for being here with us. We really do hope you're enjoying our van build series. If you are, don't forget to like and subscribe, and tune in next time to see how the van's progressing. Bye for now.